so crazy, oh boy, you so crazy, so big, back up in the easy, baby.
Doggies, angels, y'all so crazy.
See, some of y'all bitches think it's all a game.
Snoop, that I think people forget how many artists not only he's worked with, but that he's signed to a label or he's given a deal or he's given opportunities to. So for you early on in your career, what did you notice about Snoop on the personal side that makes him like so great to give artists these opportunities?
Well, Snoop, he treats the situation in a personal way too. And that's something that I noticed a lot of artists did not even get in situations they were in. You know, they don't, 9 times out of 10, they probably don't even meet the CEO. You know, they probably don't even know where they live. You know, they probably never even ate dinner. They, together. It's just like, hey, we signed you. Didn't somebody call you in the office and, hey, go, you know what I mean? They're telling whoever's supposed to do what they do. Yes, no, maybe so. And he treated it like a family. Doghouse was a family. Everybody had each other's number. If there was an issue, everybody could call everybody personally, and as a person, he's a great person. You know what I mean? He's he's considered family to me still. You know what I mean? Because we still do, business, and we still hang out until the COVID kicked in. But the opportunity that he gave us, a lot of us capitalized off of it, and a lot of us probably wouldn't have even gotten an opportunity, period, if it wasn't for him.
You gotta shout him out.
You seriously, you gotta shout him out.
And then, like you said too, I think, not as much as you, of course, but I've been around Snoop a lot since the 90s. And the thing is, like talking to him and learning from him and studying his moves and everything, I think people also underestimate, like you said with Baby If You're Ready, like he has a really good ear and a really good ideas on the business side. And I think that would be important for you to speak on, like explain to people, they may just see Snoop and he's so cool and he's so that, but he's super smart. And I think people need to recognize that.
Yeah, no, he's very smart. He taught us how to put an album together, like from beginning to end. Like, he taught us, he talked to us about things to watch out for when we got in the industry. He would have conversations with us like, know why people are dealing with you. You know what I mean? Know the difference, and I remember he had this conversation with us and he just said, you got to know why people fuck with you. I know why some people fuck with me because I'm Snoop. And some of those people, they get treated just like that because I'm Snoop, and he will see things. And like one time we brought this person around. I don't say no names because I don't want to start nothing. And this person wanted to like manage us. So we were like, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, I got this, I got that. And we're like, okay, cool. We'll introduce you to Snoop and then you can take it from there. Brought him to the Doghouse and Snoop had many conversations with him and he was like, nah. We was like, what? Nah, he ain't even interested in y'all. He wanted to get here. And I said, damn. You know what I mean? Like that fast. And he was right. The dude wasn't even even after that, we never really talked to him. And I was like, wow. So stuff like that, it made me start like just analyzing and assessing and just start realizing, the relationships you create and people you deal with and why and just all that. Just look past everything else, past the talk, He really let you watch out for that. Performing, taught us how to, perform, learned a lot. Because I used to get butterflies on stage. It was so many people. You know what I'm saying? So he would be up there and he didn't throw us to the wolves. I love him for that. He didn't throw us to the wolves because you know, when you first get in the industry and you get in front of 20, 30,000 people, it's not the same situation when you was rapping at school or in the studio. It's totally different.
Well,
So,
even it's funny you say that, because one thing I always remember about Snoop, now that I've gotten to know him really well over the years, is that in the Deep Cover video, remember, he's barely looking in the camera. Like, he's so shy and not like, but then by the time Nothing But a G Thing and everything, he had developed more of his persona and, for camera and performance and stuff. But
yeah.
that just always shocked me. Like, he was so, to me, it looked shy in that video of Deep Cover compared to boom, you know.
Yeah. Hey, I was like that too. I remember my first performance. You know, I was in a group with this one girl named her name was Rock Candy, and that's my friend. We still good. Hey, Granada. And she had her stage presence down packed. I said, damn, she must have did this before. So when I was up there, I was in the back the whole time. You know, I made sure I projected and I delivered my verse right. But I was kind of staged. I'm like, I'm not really ready for this. This is crazy. So I had to. That is something you have to work on, because that wasn't my favorite part of the job. You know, my favorite part of it was actually meeting the people that really liked your stuff. That right there was totally, because, you know, some people have no idea like how much you put into crafting, you know, your bars, you know, the songs and everything, and hoping that people love it just like, you know, just as much as you do. So.
Well, that's why I started off with that question about the lyrics, because that to me is like the music and the lyrics and the thought and all that. That's what drew me to rap in the first place. Like, how amazing I thought it all was. So
yes.
when I started, you know, fortunately getting able to write and interview people, that's why I do the interviews I do, because that's what matters to me. You know, I'm does. And that leads nicely into Curious, because to me on that record, shout out and RIP to Nate Dogg on there, but the your flow and your style on there, that was like one of my favorites. How you were writing the beat on that. But I wanted you to explain for you at that point, you know, with the album, you have different, especially with Baby Ain't You Ready and Curious, those are so different. Artistically, how do you look at, okay, this is a smoother beat, how do I approach it, versus something like Curious where it has that slap, you know, that kind of is so different?
You know what's crazy? When I get like a beat, depending on how it sounds, I'm like, what would somebody that everything that they drop is just a classic, what would they put on there? How would they approach it? And then I try to get the melody, and then I try to channel that, because without doing that, everything will be the same. And that right there, I don't like that. I don't like, you know, every time you sound the same, you got the same rhythm, the same pattern. It's like, you have to change that up. The beat is not the same. So, you know what I mean? You have to change it up. And it's funny you said that about the interviews, because I was watching the interview back then that Rakim had did. And this is before I even got the deal. And he had said, you know, they said, well, how do you, you know, come up with your how do you come up with your bars and stuff like that? And, you know, he had said, I try to find words nobody has used. I said, damn it, that's what I'm gonna do. I said, that's why he's so dope, doing that. So, you know, it's my approach is to who's getting on the song, one, so I know what level I really need to take my bars. Thank you, Crooked Eye. You know, that's how we do. So that's exactly what I used to do when it came time to write anything, because my thing was to shine on it as much as I could. You know what I mean? So, and that's it. And I always try to see, I try to compete with the males, because it's a male dominant game. You know what I mean? It's a male dominant game. If you can't even get their ears to listen to it, then it's not the same. You know what I mean? Especially back then. Now it don't matter. You know what I mean? But back then you had to get their attention. You know, look how the Brat came. You know, the Brat came and she shut shit down, and because, you know, they were comparing her to a Snoop. You know what I mean? They was like, okay, well, she's a female Snoop, but you could tell that she was coaching like Jermaine Dupri. Like, you know what? We got to simple. You know, you got to make it a little simple because, you know, you got to get into the game, because she wasn't rapping like that at first. Then her real style came again, because I loved her originals. When I heard her on the Crisscross song, I said, man, this girl is dope. So when she came with her album, I said, wait a minute, she wasn't rapping like that on the Crisscross song. She ate them up on that Crisscross song. So I was like, Jermaine Dupri, I know what you're doing. That's why when that second album came, she gave you her. That was like it. So I said, man, this girl is dope. I really like the Brat. We got to meet her. She's real cool. We actually did a song with the Brat. But for Joanna Man, it was supposed to be for the Joanna Man soundtrack. LT Hutton produced the beat, but it never happened. The soundtrack never happened. That, you know, Snoop, I guess he was gonna like oversee the soundtrack, but he might have backed out because it didn't go through. But we did do the song though. The Brat is she's very cool.
Yeah, and I think underrated as well. She's very talented.
Oh, definitely underrated. She's an female artist. She's in my top 5. Period. Okay. Yeah, she's in my.
Okay. So then with the Game to Get Over on Please Believe It, East Siders are on there, of course. So what was the plan, in your guys' opinion, or Snoop's opinion, or even with the East Siders? Like, did you guys, I can never figure out, were they trying to make you the female East Siders? Was that coincidence? Was that a plan? Like, what was the thought of that at that time?
Yes, we were. I mean, Snoop was like, y'all gonna wear khakis, and now we were like, we not gonna do that, but we gonna figure out a way to blend the khakis in, no problem. But yeah, on Game to Get Over, that's an interesting song because we had to like hijack that beat. The engineer played it on accident, and we were in the studio. It was just me and Chan, and we said, we want this. He said, you gotta ask Snoop. So we went over there, we asked Snoop. Snoop said, what beat? We like, man, it's the beat, it's tight. We need it. Ooh, I think Battle Cat did it. And we said, okay, cool. Battle Cat, you know, so we went in there. Me and Chan did our part on Game to Get Over. We in there, we locked that part down. Then Cola did hers later. And so the East Siders, I guess he wanted to put the East Siders on there, and then the East Siders were like, oh my gosh, you know, y'all really kind of like killed this song. So they were in there making sure their verses was tight because they didn't want to get embarrassed. Well, not embarrassed, but you know what I'm saying. They didn't want to even get embarrassed on that song. But that song I campaigned for to be a single. Nobody rocked with me on that one, but that's one of my favorite songs on the whole album.
No, me too, because I think that album has a lot of great energy, but that song in particular, I think it's back to that competition thing. I felt a different element vocally, and the tone and the flows from everybody, because that's a lot of high-powered big guns there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was it was a testy time at that time when everybody did that first, because it was all like, I got to be the best. You know, my shit got to be hard. So that's really what it was, and it came out that way. You know what I mean? I really wanted that to be a single. I wanted a video shot to that because I was like, this needs to drop. This song right here, I'm telling y'all, this the one. But
right.
You know, I'm the baby, so ain't nobody listening to me.
No, well, if it's not my favorite song, that and Curious are probably two of my favorites on Please Believe It. And I'm not sure, I kind of go back and forth which ones I like more. Just because those are probably two of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.